Let's talk about the top of the light heavyweight division in the UFC, where I want to discuss what I like to call the rock, paper, scissors situation at 205 right now. We've got three fighters at the top of the division. Magomed Ankalaev just beat Johnny Walker. He has 100% earned the title shot against Alex Pereira or Jamahal Hill if that fight does happen before. We've got Jamahal Hill, who also has been promised a title shot by the UFC, and he was said, you know, they did the same thing for Yuri Prohaska. If you got injured, you could vacate the title and you will get a title shot when you come back. And we've got Alex Pereira saying that he wants to do a record quick turnaround by defending the title in a very, very quick amount of time, one after the other, which means I think he's expecting to go through Jamahal Hill and then Magomed Ankalaev afterwards, acknowledging that Magomed Ankalaev has earned the next shot at the title in the light heavyweight division. Let's discuss. I think it's a rock, paper, scissors situation, and I wanted to talk about this now because for the rest of the week, all of my content is going to be about UFC 297, but we got a rock, paper, scissors situation. Ankalaev beats Walker, wants the title shot. He's absolutely deserved it as well. After the Jan Blachowicz fight, he could have sat out and said, I deserve a title shot again. I was robbed. It wasn't a robbery, but he could have made that argument and been that guy that sat out on the sidelines and waited for a title shot. But he went in there against Walker, got the no contest, which should have been a DQ. So he kind of got lucky there, but he fought him again. Beat him brutally, highlight reel KO as well, which is something we've been waiting for from Magomed Ankalaev because the hype after the Jan Blachowicz fight wasn't that much. It was a really dull fight. The Thiago Santos fight was a really, really dull fight where he got badly dropped and then just held Santos up against a cage and minorly outstruck him at range. So now he's got hype. This is the best time for Ankalaev to get a title shot, and it's his most deserving time as well. But I want to talk about the matchups. I believe that Alex Pereira beats Jamahal Hill. I also believe that Magomed Ankalaev beats Alex Pereira. But here's something that I want to discuss as well. After watching Ankalaev's fights in the build-up to the fight with Johnny Walker, and also the Johnny Walker fight itself, I'm starting to realize that maybe, first of all, I think he beats Alex Pereira because we've seen Pereira taken down by guys like Yuri Prohaska, and we've seen him taken down by Jan Blachowicz in round one as well, and these guys just aren't the level of grappler that Magomed Ankalaev is. So I think he is the paper to the rock of Alex Pereira here. And I think Pereira is the rock to the scissors of Jamahal Hill. But here's where we complete the full circle. I'm not saying it's as bad of a matchup as Ankalaev is for Pereira, or maybe that Pereira is for Jamahal Hill, but I think Jamahal Hill is the guy to beat Ankalaev right now in the 205-pound division. So that's a really exciting matchup for me as well. And I want to break that down for you guys. That's why I call it the rock, paper, scissors situation, because everyone's kind of good against one another. I know Jamahal Hill's not like got the absolute answer to Magomed Ankalaev's game. I think he's just a really good style matchup. Great takedown defense, wicked stand-up, dangerous power on the feet as well, amazing chin. So he's not like Johnny Walker. You know, remember Jamahal Hill flatlined Johnny Walker in the first round. In hindsight, that Johnny Walker prediction was really dumb. I just have a feeling sometimes, and I like to go off of my hunch feeling. It was dumb to pick Leon Edwards over Usman twice, but it pays off. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got that hunch, and it would have annoyed me badly if I didn't go with it, and Walker somehow had that axe kicker centimeter forward and cracked Ankalaev on the chin with it, or landed one of those goofy spinning back fists. Either way, Ankalaev is probably the best light heavyweight on the planet right now when it comes to being well-rounded, with what he can do to opponents when it comes to taking them down and also beating them on the feet. He's got wicked stand-up. He actually said that he was going to strike with Alex Pereira if they did have a matchup. Don't believe it for a second, but it's good mind games. He will mix in the takedowns. I mean, he was striking with Walker in the first fight they had, took him down eventually. I know he didn't take him down in this fight, but still, he had Walker up against the cage at one moment. Walker didn't go down. It is what it is. I think he will be mixing in the grappling against Pereira. It's an interesting thing. Ankalaev, I do think, does beat Pereira. I think he does, and I think I'll have to pick him. When is he going to get the shot? Who should be at UFC 300? I'm not sure. I would say that Jamahal Hill should be at UFC 300 against Alex Pereira. They're going to Brazil in May. That's the rumor that people are telling me about in my live chat every day. They're going to Brazil in May, apparently. So that's maybe what Alex Pereira is saying about record quick turnaround for a title, for a champion to make title defenses. Maybe he's saying, I'm going to fight at UFC 300 and then I'm going to make a turnaround in Brazil at UFC 301. That would be amazing, by the way. No one's done that since, I believe it was Davison Figueiredo, made that back-to-back pay-per-view turnaround where he fought Alex Perez on one of them, subbed him, and then fought Brandon Moreno in an absolute war afterwards, and got a draw against him, which arguably should have been a win because it was only a draw because they gave Moreno the 5th round, which is absolutely a rigged scorecard, but they gave Grasso the 5th round against Shevchenko 10-8, so another rigged scorecard. They really want Mexican champions. It's a big market that boxing has that MMA doesn't. Either way, hear me out. Ankalaev beats Pereira. Even on the feet, I like Ankalaev against Pereira. Yuri, who just come out, by the way, and said, I had staph infection and I had only trained for a week in the build-up of the fight. I personally hate that because it ruins everything. Like, come on. Just let us live in our fantasy where everyone's the best they've ever felt and fight each other. Stop ruining it, Yuri. Okay? Pipe down for a second, mate. Love you. Great fighter. Amazing to watch. One of my favorites to watch on the entire roster ever. But calm down for a second. Ankalaev's stand-up style is really good against Pereira as well. Low kicks for Pereira are going to be a tool that he can use. And they will be the same thing against Jamahal Hill as well. But I like Ankalaev's patience and his composure and the way that he stays within himself. He very rarely overextends. And the reason why I picked Alex Pereira to beat Yuri is because Yuri overextends with his chin up in the air and his right hand down by his waist. So I knew Pereira was going to catch him with that left hook on the back foot and put him away at some point in their fight after chewing up his leg because Yuri doesn't deal with leg kicks and he's very heavy on his front foot and he just doesn't check him. So I think Ankalaev's good against Pereira on the feet. Obviously, in a strictly stand-up fight, I'll pick Pereira to absolutely flatline Ankalaev. It's Alex Pereira compared to Magomed Ankalaev on the feet. Even when it comes to physicality and reach and just general power that the two of them have. I mean, this is the first time we've really seen punch power from Magomed Ankalaev in his career. I know he's had moments where he's hurt people and dropped him and he put away Kutalaba with a big punch, but a lot of people have put away Kutalaba with shots. Another bad pick on my behalf there. Silly. Either way, I like Ankalaev against Pereira. Stays patient, creeps forward, very, very effective. Obviously, the low kicks are going to be a thing, but he does deal with them well. And Jan Blachowicz was out low kicked by Alex Pereira. So the low kicks are a factor that he has to watch out for. But in my opinion, when Ankalaev's moving forward and he has Alex Pereira throwing low kicks, you don't want to be doing that on one leg, moving backwards against a guy like Ankalaev who can shoot a double leg at any moment and get you to the ground if lesser grapplers can, like Jan Blachowicz and Yuri Prochazka. So I think Ankalaev would beat Pereira. I think Pereira beats Jamahal Hill. I do. The low kicks, especially with Jamahal Hill coming off of a Achilles tear, a really bad leg injury, I don't like that for him. If he was to come back at UFC 300, I feel like he would get low kicked by Alex Pereira quite badly. Plus, he's been out for a long time, so I don't think we'll see the best Jamahal Hill in that fight either. Plus, he likes to trade on the feet with punches. He has got good defense, but sometimes, again, same with Yuri. When he throws that right hand, it comes down to his waist, and the shots come from the waist. And I know maybe that was just him against people that might be trying to take him down, but Pereira's not going to let that slide either. And I do think he would chew up the legs of Jamahal Hill. I really do. And I think that's where he would beat Jamahal Hill if they did fight at UFC 300. But Jamahal Hill against Ankalaev is what I want to talk about as well. Great takedown defense. Good boxing. Great chin. Doesn't really let himself get pushed back too much. And if he does, he's okay with it. But when he's on the front foot, he mixes in head kicks. And he just starts getting creative on people. And he doesn't let people bully him around. And I think he'd be really good against Ankalaev. And that's the danger matchup for Ankalaev in the division. I think Krylov is also a very underratedly dangerous matchup for Ankalaev. And he's already fought Ankalaev to a 29-28 very close decision, by the way. Where in round 2, Ankalaev, I believe, landed a couple more single-digit significant strikes to win that round against Krylov, who did very well in that fight against him. So, who's going to fight at UFC 300 is the question. Is it Ankalaev? I don't think it is. And I think he knows it's not. He said he was ready for it, but I don't want to see Ankalaev and then have maybe he lose to Alex Pereira, and then everyone's going to be like, well, he went through Ramadan. You know what I mean? Because Ramadan is going to take place almost perfectly to ruin any Muslim fighter's chances of fighting on UFC 300. This is a reason why we can't perfectly have Makhachev versus Gaethje as the main event of UFC 300, which would fix a lot of problems that we're having with that card right now. So I think Alex Pereira, Jamahal Hill, UFC 300, and then they're going to be in Brazil in May for a pay-per-view. So I guess we're going to have to do Alex Pereira or Jamahal Hill if they win. Probably not Jamahal Hill if he wins. He might wait until International Fight Week in July. But if Alex Pereira wins, I guess he'll be looking to make a quick turnaround for that card, as he's been talking about on Twitter, to fight Magomed Ankalaev. So I think that's the order that they're going to do things. And I'm looking forward to how this all plays out in the light heavyweight division. What I could see happening is Ankalaev finishing on top. When all of this is done, I think Ankalaev's going to finish on top, because I reckon Alex Pereira is going to get Jamahal Hill first, beat him, and then Ankalaev's going to get Alex Pereira, and Ankalaev's going to beat him. That's what I think happens. Sad, I know, for pay-per-views. Really sad. But Ankalaev's now more promotable than ever because he just got a wicked KO on Johnny Walker, who has a habit of making people's KOs against him look very, very viral, the way he goes down like a Looney Tunes character every single time. Looking forward to the way the top of the division at light heavyweight plays out. I wanted to discuss that idea, though. They've all got a problem with each other in terms of style matchups. I just wish we could see all of them fight each other at some point. You know what I mean? Ankalaev, I think he beats Pereira, but I think Pereira beats Hill. But I wouldn't mind Hill against Ankalaev. And out of all of the top light heavyweights, I think Jamahal Hill is the guy to beat Ankalaev. So we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. All the content's about UFC 297. Looking forward to this fight week. Strickland versus Duplessis. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.